read your contract very carefully. Now here I will just brush aside the scams and the potential lies or the potential misleading or something like that that could be in contracts. Okay, if it's that, you're already heading toward a disaster that you probably cannot avoid, or you're probably gonna realize that when you're gonna see the contract. So don't bother. Okay, at that point you should walk away. But 90% of the time it's because of the complexity. Again, in my case, lots and lots of upgrades, a lot of things that needs to be checked. Also, you may have negotiated something that's a little off. Like I mentioned to you, they already have predetermined prices. Let's say 50,000 for 25 weeks. They already have that written in a bunch of contracts. Then they will just put out the right contracts, and they will modify a little bit your name, numbers, and the dates, and they're gonna print it. The thing is, they may not have seen that you've negotiated 3 more weeks. They may not have seen that or didn't understand the sales reps, information, or they omitted it, or something is wrong, the dates are wrong. Sometimes it's minor details. You negotiated 10 more years to use a certain number of weeks. You're the only one who ever mentioned that because nobody else thinks about it. Nobody else took this course. I don't know. The idea is that the others didn't think about it. So of course the person doing the legal contracts never thought about it either. And now, whoops, she forgot to put in the contract. This is one thing. These are common mistake, regular mistake. The thing that I want to make sure, and I'll repeat that and I'll have a complete lesson for that later down the road, it's the thing that are not mentioned during the presentation that may be in the contract or may not be in the contract. Not by malice, but simply it's just too much information for the rep to have told you. Or maybe you did and you didn't think about it, and that's major. So now let me give you an example that happened to a friend of mine in Florida last year. Okay, it's basically a compound. It's a timeshare, but for retiree, for people over 55 years old. He sits down and he reads the contract carefully, and luckily he had called me before because he knows I'm heavily involved in memberships and stuff like that. So he called me, says, I'm going there, do you have any suggestion? And I gave him that piece, just to check the contract, because we always check and we often, half the time, find errors. In the contract it was written 55 years, as he had been told by the sales rep, but it was also written that no guest will be allowed if they're under 55 years old. Now that was a problem for him. My friend has a very huge Winnebago, like the bus size one, like 50 feet long with the extensions and stuff. He can lodge 4 or 5 people in there. He likes to bring his family with him to travel sometimes. But in this contract, it was clearly stated that even the guests, if they weren't 55 years old, they weren't allowed. If it's in your contract and he had it modified and they gave him a specific sheet and exactly what I thought would happen happened. He shows up with his friends in December, and the friends are all below 55 years old, and the guard refused for them to come in. Now he takes the page of his contracts and he shows it, and he said, look, I have a specific derogation that states that I have the right to do that 2 weeks per year. They had to put that in. So that's fine. The guard called the management, explained that to the management. Manager comes, talks to the manager, shows them the contract, makes a call, and 45 minutes later, they call him at his cabin and say, okay, yes, no problem, everything is done. Thank you very much. During the entire 2 weeks, a bunch of people have asked him, how come you have people below 55 here? Oh, it's not allowed. Yes, I have a specific derogation, blah, blah. And you have to explain that 10 times. Now try to imagine that he had not spotted this in the contract. Then he would have signed up, bought, and full on paid, and he wouldn't have been able to do the thing that he really wanted to do with his contract. On top of that, try to resell that contract for fun, or try to do something when you don't have a chance to sell it to anybody below 55, or you don't have a chance to invite anybody below 55. So this is the kind of thing that you have to make sure that it's in the contract, or that there's not something in the contract that is an absolute deal breaker for you that cannot be done. Okay, adult only, I don't know, kids below a certain age, all kinds of things like that you have to make sure it's not in there. Also the week, the time that you're supposed to travel. If the guy told you there's no restriction, you can come whenever you want, And that's not what a contract says. You have to mention it. All these details. So read the contract carefully. Take your time. That's why sometimes it could take 2-3 hours after you sign or after you agree to basically have the contract ready and sign, because there's so much stuff and you don't want to make a mistake. That's important. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and give me the thumbs up. I'm going to make a video like this almost every single day, teaching people how to move around the world, travel, how to prosper anywhere. If you have any experiences, if you travel anywhere, please tell me where you travel. Put it in the comment below. If you have any questions, I do answer my comments. And also, if the question is broad enough and I think enough people need to hear the answer, I'm going to definitely make a video about it. Also, if you want to learn how to make money, how to prosper, I retired at 33 years old, multimillionaire. How I did that internationally, online and offline. And I have a sister channel that's teaching exactly how to do that. So if you want to travel and make money anywhere, this is the channel for you.